Good afternoon. Welcome to Edusat Network. Friend, as you know, we have organized two lectures on religion and culture. Today we will discuss basically about religion in Indian context. So on your behalf, I welcome Dr. Amit Sharma for Edusat lecture on this very topic. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Today we will discuss religion in India. This is very interesting that all world religions are situated in India. And interestingly, even religions which came from outside, like Christianity and Islam, they are older in India than in Europe. For example, Christianity came to India in 1st century AD, whereas Christianity went to Europe in 4th century AD. In other words, Christianity is an Indian religion and not the European one, as most people understand. Therefore, in some sense, religion in India is also an introduction to religion in the world. But before we discuss what is religion and how Indian religions have contributed to the life and culture in India, we must understand that there are indigenous terms in India, for example, dharma or dhamma, which is usually understood as religion, but there are differences. Let us try to understand the basic difference between dharma or dhamma. Dharma is a Sanskrit term. Dhamma is a Pali term. Both mean the same thing, and both are different from religion. The root of religion is religare, which means to bind. As we bind sticks together in a rope, as we bind a cow or a buffalo to a pole. In the same way, religion binds different people together in a close-knit whole. This is some sort of binding. This is external. For this, we need three things. We need a rope, we need a pole, and we need somebody, maybe a human being, maybe a god, maybe a prophet, to bind it, an agency. Therefore, in Semitic religions, that is Judaism, Christianity and Islam, three things are very important. One is the prophet who binds. Second is the book, which is like a rope. And the third is a place of worship, a designated place of worship, that is like a pole. Therefore, in Christianity, we have Jesus the prophet, New Testament or the New Bible, and the church. In Judaism, we have Moses as the prophet, Old Testament or the Old Bible or the Hebrew Bible as the book, and the synagogue as the place of worship. And in Islam, we have three things. Muhammad as the prophet, Quran as the book, and mosque or masjid as the place of worship. In case we apply these three criteria to Indic religions, Hinduism, Jainism, Buddhism, Sikhism, it is very difficult to find anything like the prophet, anything like the book, anything like the place of worship. What is the book among the Hindus? There is no one book on which all Hindus have agreed. from the Vedic times. Even in the Vedic age, everybody did not believe or read the Vedas. Only the experts read the Vedas under the feet of the Gurus. They were called Brahmins. But every Brahmin was not entitled to read or recite the Vedas. Only those Brahmins were qualified enough to read the Vedas who were supatras, suitable persons. Therefore, there is no book in Hindu society which is a must to be a Hindu. Without reading a book, you can be a Hindu. You can read some books of your choice, but nobody is there to prescribe you that book. That book you select on your own. And once you select a book, you no more remain a Hindu. You become a Vaishnavite in case you read a Vaishnava text. You become a Saivite in case you select a Saivite text. You become a Shakta in case you select a Shakta text. But it is also possible that you are a Smarta. I will discuss with these terms a little later. At the moment, I am trying to differentiate between religion and dharma. In the same way, there are no prophets in Hindu society. There are no prophets in Jainism. There are no prophets in Buddhism. Buddha is not the prophet. Mahavir is not the prophet. They are teachers. They are Tirthankaras. They are Bodhisattvas. It is different from the prophet. The prophet is one who receives the revelation from outside. For example, Muhammad received the Quran from an angel called the Gabriel. Therefore, there is a mediation of Gabriel between Allah, the God, and Muhammad, the Prophet. And then the Muhammad gave the Quran to the Muslims. Therefore, there is a mediation between the Allah and Muhammad by Gabriel, and there is a mediation between the Quran and the Muslims. It is mediated by Muhammad. It is also mediated by the Maulvis. Therefore, some sort of mediation is inbuilt in the Semitic religions. The same is true about Jesus Christ and Christianity. Jesus is the prophet. He received the revelation through the angel, and he is considered son, the only son of God the Almighty. Therefore, there are three things in Christianity. One is the God, who is the Father, then Jesus, the Son of God, and then there is the Holy Ghost. The Holy Ghost mediates between Jesus and God. The same is true about Judaism. Moses received the revelation through the angel. Therefore, Semitic religions, that is Judaism, Christianity and Islam, are mediated religions. The prophets and the God are mediated by the angels, and the prophets mediate between the God and the commoners. In contrast, in Indic religions, revelation is not necessary. What is required is self-realization. In other words, in Semitic religions, the truth comes from outside. The truth is external to human beings. In India, truth is internal. It is intrinsic. It is the product of self-realization. There are two types of realizations. One is realization of truth as Atma, personal soul. And second is realization as Atma, which is a pind of Paramatma. In other words, there is self-realization and God realization. Self-realization is a realization that man is not only a body, mind, heart. It is also a soul. And the soul is made up of particles, of elements, which is divine, the God, the Paramatma, the Almighty. There is no difference of quality between human beings and God. This makes it different from the Semitic religions, because in the Semitic religions, human beings are inferior and God is superior. They are made up of two different qualitatively things, two different qualitatively different elements. Human beings can never attain divinity the way God is divine. Human beings are considered fallen from grace. Adam was banished from heaven on earth, and Adam or Adam is the first man in Semitic religions. There is no such a story of fallen in Indic religions. The reason is very simple. As I said, dharma or dhamma is rooted in dhri dhatu. Dhri means to sustain. For example, there is a glass and I sustain it. I want to sip it. I have my clothes, I wear it, but I can also remove it. Therefore, religion is very different in India. Religion or dharma is very different in India. There is no book, there is no prophet, there is no mandatory prayer. You can realize God anywhere, anytime, without any mediation. It is also not necessary to believe in God. For example, in Jainism, there is no concept of God. But even then, it is a dharma. In Buddhism, the Buddha is silent about the concept of God. He neither says that there is God, nor says there is no God. He is just silent. Because according to the Buddha, it is not important to believe in an external God. It is important to realize your own self. It is important to do your own karma. The Buddha says, there is dukkha in the world. Dukkha, that is sorrow. He says there is a reason behind this dukkha, that is craving, and it can be eliminated. There is something called sorrow in the world. There is a cause behind this sorrow, and this sorrow can be eliminated in case we remove the cause of it. In other words, In Indic religions like Buddhism, Jainism and Hinduism, the theory of karma is supreme. Even God is not above this. For example, in Vaishnavism, there is a god called Thakurji. In North India, there are Thakur Badis. Do you know who is the Thakurji? The Thakurji is Krishna, Lord Krishna. But he is not a normal Krishna. He is a leper Krishna. He is suffering from leprosy or kodh, kust. Why? Because after the war of the Mahabharata, Lord Krishna was playing the flute on a branch of a tree, and his lotus feet was hanging. There was a Bahelia who was an incarnation of Bali in Treta Yuga. Lord Krishna belongs to Dwapar Yuga. Lord Ram had killed Bali in a very deceptive way. He did not fought Bali directly. Bali and Sugriv were fighting, and Ram was hiding behind 7 trees. Therefore, from the veil of the trees, he killed Bali. Why? Because Bali was given a boon by God that whoever will come before you will become half in energy and valor and strength. Therefore, had Ram faced Bali directly, his energy would have been taken away. At least 50% of his energy would have been taken away by Bali, and then Ram would not have been able to kill Bali. Since he killed Bali, therefore he accrued bad karma, and in the second avatar of Lord Vishnu, Ram becomes Krishna and Bali becomes Bahelia. Now, when Krishna was playing the flute, Bali in the form of Bahelia, or the reincarnation of Bali, struck by an arrow, and there was a wound in the feet of Lord Krishna. This wound became malignant. It became a kodh, a kust. He became a leper. And Hindus started worshipping him. Just to remind that in case Lord Krishna is not above karma, we are not above karma. It gave a message that a good karma will give a good result, a bad karma will give a bad result, and nobody can escape from the fruit of the karma. It is called bhagya or luck. In Christianity, it is very different. In Christianity, there is a concept that Jesus Christ or Isa Masih had sacrificed his life for the welfare of the humanity, and he accumulated surplus grace, and this surplus grace is deposited in the divine bank of the Pope. Therefore, in case you pray to Jesus Christ, or in case you confess your sin or crime to the Pope or his representatives, the bishops, then Jesus Christ may forgive you. Even if you have committed hundreds of crimes, but you confess to the Pope or his representatives, your confession will force Jesus Christ to forgive you. Now, this concept is very different from the Indian one, in which the God is also not capable enough to forgive himself. Lord Krishna as Vishnu cannot forgive Ram, the first avatar of Vishnu, first avatar before Krishna. Otherwise, you know, there are 9 avatars of Lord Vishnu, and there are 4 yugas. The Kriti Yuga, that is called Sat Yuga, Treta, Dwapar, and Kali Yuga. This is a period of Kali Yuga. In Treta, Ram was born. In Dwapar, Krishna was born. In Kali Yuga, Buddha was born. In Kriti Yuga, Parsuram was born. Before that, there are many avatars about which I will not discuss today. Therefore, what I wanted to stress is the fact of non-duality between nature and culture in Indic religions. What is the dharma of sun? To give light and heat to human beings. What is the karma or dharma of moon? To give light in the night, which is soothing, which is pleasant, which is cold. What is the dharma of earth? To sustain beings or jivas. Jivas are not only human beings. Jivas are plants, trees, bushes, insects, animals, human beings, gods. There is a difference of quantity between all these. In Hinduism, it is said that there are 84 lakh life forms. It is called yonis. And a soul transmigrates in 84 lakh life forms. This is linked with the concept of reincarnation and rebirth. In Sanskrit, it is called Punarjanma. What is Punarjanma? Birth of the soul in another life form. Why it is needed? You know that there are accidents in life. You are going on a road and a car strikes at you and you are dead. But before your death, you had done many karmas, the fruit of which is yet to be realized. It is yet to be enjoyed. Therefore, what is the rule? What is the law? The law is that to enjoy the fruit of your life before your death, you take another life. Therefore, Indic religions, Hinduism, Jainism and Buddhism are very logical. They are very predictable. There is no uncertainty. There is no need to please God. In case you do your duty rightfully, you will get salvation. You will get nirvana. You will get kaivalya. Therefore, you need not fear God. In Semitic religions, Christianity, Judaism and Islam, there are two concepts. One is heaven and the other is hell. And everybody wants to go to the heaven and nobody wants to go to the hell. They have a very interesting concept of heaven and hell. They say, their scriptures say that in heaven, that is Swarga or Jannat, you will enjoy all the luxuries of this life. There will be the most beautiful woman serving at you. I do not know what is the concept in case you are a woman. Will there be handsome men serving you? The scriptures are silent about it. The Semitic religions are male-dominated religions. Indic religions are very neutral. There is no gender of God in Hinduism. There is no gender of God in Christianity. Of Indian variety, but there is a male God in Christianity of Europe. God is male in Judaism, Christianity and Islam outside India. In India, under the Indian influence, under the Hindu influence, you have a different type of indigenous Christianity. You have a very different type of indigenous Islam. For example, the Sufi Islam. In Orthodox Islam, music is a no-no. But in Sufi Islam, music is the means through which you talk to God. Now, this is the Hindu influence on Sufism. Therefore, Wahhabi Islam or Orthodox fundamentalism of Islam, the Arabic Islam, they think that Indian Islam is inauthentic Islam. There are too many Hindu influences on Islam. Therefore, I would like to say that in India, dharma is very different. And in so-called Hinduism, there are 4 types of dharmas. One is the most important form of Hindu religion is called Asmartaj. Asmartaj are those who are neither Vaishnavas nor Saivites nor Shaktas. Asmartas are those who worship any god or no god. I am giving you one example. You talk to a common Hindu and ask him what is the form of divinity he or she worships. He or she will tell you, I go to a Vaishnavite temple, that is Ram temple, or Krishna temple, or Thakur Badi, or Hanuman temple. But I also go to a Saivite temple, a Shiva temple, a Ganpati temple. But this is not all. He may also go to a Durga temple or Kali temple. This is also not all. He may go to a Dargah, for example at Nizamuddin Dargah in Delhi, or at Khwaja Moinuddin Chisti's Dargah at Ajmer. He will also go to Shirdi ke Sai Baba. Shirdi ke Sai Baba is a very interesting case. He was born in a Muslim family. He used to live in a mosque. And he used to call God Allah. But today you will find many Sai Baba temples all over India, including in Delhi. And he is usually referred as Sai Ram. Ram was one of the incarnations of Lord Vishnu. By calling him Sai Ram, it is implied that Shirdi ke Sai Baba was an incarnation of Lord Ram. But in his whole life, he never uttered to God as Ram. You will call it is natural, because you do not worship yourself. In case he was an incarnation of Lord Ram, then it was not logical for him to worship Ram. But in case you read Tulsi's Ramcharitmanas, you know that Ram used to worship Lord Shiva. Now Sai Baba was not worshipping Lord Shiva as well. He was worshipping Allah. Now this is illogical, but this is real. I am giving you another example. There was a person called Raja Ram Mohan Rai. He founded the Brahm Samaj in Bengal. He was succeeded by Dwarkanath Tagore. Then Dwarkanath Tagore was succeeded by Devendranath Tagore, who was the father of Rabindranath Tagore. And during the life of Devendranath Tagore, the Brahm Samaj split into two parts. One was led by Devendranath Tagore and the other was led by a person called Keshav Chandra Sen. Now it is very interesting. Keshav Chandra Sen used to say that Jesus Christ is an incarnation of Lord Krishna. There is no difference between Krishna and Christ. Therefore, even if you are reading the teachings of Christ, you are actually worshipping Lord Krishna. Do you know how many gods are there, gods and goddesses are there in Hindu society? In case you ask an expert, he or she will tell you 33 crores gods and goddesses are found in India. But in case you ask the date when this was said, then you will find that it was said in the early part of 19th century. Then the population of India was 33 crores. Today what is the population of India? 121 crore. Therefore, how many gods and goddesses are in India? At least 121 crores. But this is a wrong figure. As I said you, human beings are not the only creations of God. Today, most people say there is overpopulation in India. I disagree. The overpopulation of India is a wrong concept from religious point of view. You are cutting trees, you are killing animals, and they are taking the form of human beings. This is not my concept. This is the Indian concept. On the whole, the world is the playground of the Lord. In Srimad Bhagavat, it is said that the world is the Leela of Lord Krishna. There was a Hindu Acharya called Ramanujacharya. He used to say that the world is an extension of Lord Vishnu's body. Therefore, everything on earth is divine. You must have heard about the Tantrikas and the Shaktas. Shaktas are those who worship Shakti. Shakti is the name of Parvati, Kali and Durga. They are one and the same thing in different names. And it is said that Lord Shiva is Ardhanarishwar. He is half male and half female. And when you worship God as male, for example, Ram, then you have Sita also. And you must have seen that Hindus do not recite, they do not japa as Ram, Sita, Ram, Sita, Ram, Sita. They jap the other way round. Sita, Ram, Sita, Ram, Sita, Ram. It is not Krishna Radha, Krishna Radha, Krishna Radha. It is Radhe Krishna, Radhe Krishna, Radhe Krishna. Are you getting my point? I am trying to say that in India, God is neither male nor female. He is either Nirgun, Nirakar. He is without quality, without gender, or he is Ardhanarishwar, half male and half female, or there is Yugal Upasana, worship of the couple. You worship Lakshmi Narayan, you worship Radhe Krishna, you worship Sitaram. But there is also an interesting thing. You also worship Hanuman. Who is Hanuman? He was a devotee of Ram, but he is also called Rudravatar. Now, in Ram temples or Sita temples, you will never find the icon of Love Kush, the children of Ram and Sita. You will find Ram Lakshman, Sita and Hanuman, or you will find Ram, Sita and Hanuman, or you will just have Hanuman. In the same way, Ganapati or Ganesh is more important than Kartikeya. Ganapati or Ganesh was not the biological child of Shiva Parvati. The biological child of Shiva Parvati was Kartikeya. But at least in North India, he is not worshipped by the common people the way common people worships Ganapati or Ganesh. In other words, in India, the adopted children, the adopted son is more important than the real son. Why? Because in India, it is dharma. This is duty, moral duty. This is cosmic duty to sustain the whole cosmos. Therefore, the good king will select his successor not according to the biological order of the offspring. For example, this country, India, is known as Bharat. Now, why it is called Bharata? Because there was a king called Bharat. Who was Bharat? He was the adopted child of the king. He was the adopted child of the king. He was not the real child. In Mahabharata, you can find this. Therefore, what I want to stress is the following. Religion in India is very fluid. Religion outside India is very solid. And the modern physicists say energy takes three forms: solid, liquid and gaseous. I am saying that religion in India is not solid, it is liquid. It takes the form of the pot of your body, mind and heart. You will find many Hindus who feel very comfortable in going to a church. You will find a Hindu very comfortable in a mosque. He or she may easily read the Quran or the Bible, but it is very difficult to find the other way around. You will not find a Muslim who is a devotee of Lord Ram, Krishna or Shiva outside India. But in India you will find such examples. For example, there was a person called Ras Khan. He was a Muslim and he was a great devotee of Lord Krishna. There is a person called Raimondo Panikkar. He is a devotee of the Vedas. He reads the Vedas, although he is a Christian padri, Christian priest. Therefore, I want to say that in India, religion is very fluid in the form of dharma, dhamma. It is very logical and it is something very, very personal. I have seen families which is a Vaishnavite family, where children do not worship Lord Vishnu or different incarnations of Vishnu. They worship Lord Shiva or Ganapati or Sai Baba. And nobody forces them to stop it. Religion is very, very personal in India. I have seen many Arya Samajis. In Arya Samaj, there is no Murti Puja. The husband is Arya Samaji, but the wife is a Sanatani. In Punjab, the Sikhs and Hindu remarry. I will give you another example, which is very controversial. Aurangzeb is regarded as a fundamentalist Muslim. And it is said that he destroyed many Hindu and Buddhist and Jain temples. But it is also a fact that he constructed many Hindu and Jain temples. One historian has said he gave money to construct 300 Hindu temples and mosques. Second thing is that he imposed the jizya tax, the religious tax on Hindus. But he lived a very Spartan life. He was a king. His territory was largest among the Mughal kings. But he was not taking a single rupee to live his life from the state exchequer. Whereas his ancestors, for example Akbar, Jahangir and Shah Jahan, used to spend 30% of the national GDP on their personal lives. Akbar may be a great king from political point of view, but from religious point of view, he used to maintain a harem of 5,000 women. He used to sleep with 5,000 women. He used to spend 30% of national GDP on his life. In contrast, Aurangzeb was very religious Muslim. He used to sleep on a chatai, a mat. He used to copy the Quran. And on the basis of the earnings of copying the Quran, he used to live a very Spartan, common life. Such kings you will not find outside India. But Aurangzeb was not the only king. There was also a king called Harshvardhan, who was a Buddhist. He used to donate all his property in Kumbh. You must have read about Lord Ram. On the complaint of a dhobi, a washerman, he banished his own lovely wife, for whom he had fought with Ravana, the almighty demon. What I want to say is that there is something in India which is unique, which has sustained it for thousands of years. And that uniqueness comes from the interplay of religion and culture in India. Religion and culture in India is interdependent on each other. And in culture, arts have played a more important role than sciences. In religion, science has played a more important role than arts. In other words, religion in India is a combination of science and art, mind and soul, heart and mind, reasoning and faith. In other religions, in religions of other places, you find the preponderance of faith. the scriptures. In India, logic is more important than blind faith. There is a logic behind everything the Hindus or the Jains or the Buddhists or the Sikhs believe in. It is very logical. And in case you read the holy books of the Hindus or the Buddhists or the Jains, you can select your own dharma, which will make you complete, which will make you contented, which will make you fulfilled, which will make you divine. I think I will stop here and let there be some queries and questions.
Oh, well, you explained all the characteristic of the different religion and also what kind of Indian religion is. But one thing which we wonder to know, despite of all this fluidness, or we can say that have kind of accommodative nature, we Indian, why there is some kind of aggressiveness in the psyche of the Indian people when it comes to the other religion?
It is a very simple question, but it is simple only when you try to understand it yourself. In case you want to solve it for you, it is very difficult. One reason is that most Muslims and most Christians in India are the converts from the Hindu society. And this conversion is only superficial or conscious. As Sigmund Freud said, human beings live in three spheres: conscious, subconscious, and unconscious. Consciously they have converted, but subconsciously they have common heritage, and unconsciously they sustain that common heritage. Therefore, Hindus are very tolerant to other faiths in India. This is one aspect of the truth. But there is also the other aspect of the truth, and that is interesting. Indians are not tolerant of only other religions. Indians are also tolerant of the invaders. Every civilization has been invaded by one community or the other community. And once invaders come to a country, there is hostility, permanent hostility between the invaders and the invaded. But you will find that once the invader settles down in India, there is peaceful coexistence. Before 18th century, there was no communal riot in India. Do you know this?
Yeah.
Before 18th century,
Before
there was no communal riot in India.
Before 1799,
Yeah.
the first violence, communal violence occurred in that
Yeah.
year, I think.
Therefore, the original nature of Hindu civilization was transformed during the colonial rule. And by the colonial rule, we are including only the British rule in India. We are not including the Muslim invasion during the medieval period from 12th to 18th. That is a different type of relationship between the Hindus and Muslims from outside. Unfortunately or fortunately, those Muslims who came from outside have migrated to Pakistan, and those who remain in India are the descendants of the Hindus, by and large. Therefore, they have changed their faith, but they have not changed their culture.
Okay. This is the established fact.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Established fact requires qualification. Established by whom?
by academician, they have done a
Yeah.
study and the research, and after that they make this
It is by and large,
Right.
it is by and large verified in the field. It is by and large verified in the field, but you know that social sciences are written from different ideological positions.
Right.
And modern people are the most intolerant people. The modernity is very intolerant of other systems. For example, allopathic medicine, it is very intolerant of homeopathy and Ayurveda and Unani.
Right.
Whereas homeopathy and Ayurveda and Unani, they are not intolerant of allopathy. Are you getting the point?
Yes, yes. So, as you said that by and large, the Indian psyche is tolerant, and they have already shown
Yeah,
it over the years.
one reason is that in India, for example, it is said that there is one truth, but that can be expressed through different languages, different mediums.
So, well, friends, with these words, we conclude the lecture here today. And I thank all of you for watching the lecture. And on your behalf, I thank also Dr. Amit Sharma for giving such an insightful lecture and enlightening to us on this very complex topic, which is very difficult to understand on their own from different perspective. So he has given us insight and also perspective from which we can learn to know how to understand the religion and Indian religion. In fact, thank you very much.